Greetings, fans and flamers. It is I, Cobra One, and once again I bring some semi-willing participants into the video with me.
Semi? The only semi here is the big biased semi truck that I'm about to start driving through this game.
Uh,
Oh, I get it. By semi, you mean not really, and by willing, you mean dragged in by chains.
oh, really? I thought that the tasers were enough. You know, just I have to get chains now too. Gee,
Well, that's
this is
just your way of saying hello.
exactly.
Dude, you just needed to ask, man. I'm all over this series like white on rice.
Well, at least it wasn't highly responsive to prayers.
Yeah, that's a game we're just not doing. We're gonna be doing. Well,
Yep.
Cobra's gonna at least attempt to do a run through like the majority of the Touhou series. We're starting with game 2.
Right.
Story of Eastern Wonderland. Highly responsive to prayers is not a Danmaku bullet game. It is
A Danmaku breakout, I think, is the best way to put it.
basically
Like block,
it's
block,
basically
whatever.
Arkanoid with Danmaku elements to it. And in HRTP, you're basically introduced to the series protagonist Reimu. You who goes into either Jigoku, hell, or Makai, and you fight either the dimensional Oni swordswoman Kungara or the Angel of Death, Sariel. And, well, there's virtually no plot. Aside from one canon bit of info that Sariel used too much of her energy and reincarnated as a fairy. That's literally all the canon info I can come up with for the ending of that game.
I was gonna say I only ever got to see a bad ending where basically Reimu blew up the world as a result. So
Yeah, well, given who her patron deity is, the yin yang orb exploding, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
so basically the reason we're here is as he said, I'm pretty much providing playthroughs because Eizen he way back when
I
he went
doesn't
through,
do Touhou.
yeah he
I
went,
don't. I
The
can't.
closest thing I've done is Mega Mari. That's about it.
And me, I'm gonna be fully honest here. Bullet hell games make me want to break out trainers.
Not me though. I've cleared a couple of Touhou games on hard, and I have replays of the Windows games to prove that I have cleared a few extra stages. I have even beaten Yukari, so I have the skill but not the lore, and Watcher here has the lore but not the skill evidently, but together
I ain't touching Gatpad. Nah, I like living.
You're you're assigned to the Phantasm stage 2 weeks from now. Just
I better start looking for tofu recipes because Rand's the only thing that can save me now.
Hey, so the reason Eisen's here is, well, he played through Mega Mario
Education
Mystery
time.
Quest, so I figured might be nice to let him learn a little bit about the Gensokyo
Touhou
universe.
Appreciation 101.
Yeah, we're starting at almost the beginning. So
Yes.
now, another weird thing that's probably going to come up if we go to the Windows area is the age difference. Now, we don't know how old Reimu is in the first game. I've always speculated about 10, and the PC-98 games have anywhere from 6 months to a year between them. So, the little sprout we're going to be playing is going to be about 11.
Wow, real young. Okay, younger than I was always guessing. Just
Again,
starting the teen
theory.
years, you know. Yes.
Don't know for sure. Now, like, the only indicator of Reimu's age we ever get in canon is that in the official manga she can drink booze. So, by the time of, like, Imperishable Night, she's at least 20.
There also one other suggestion in this game as to how old she is, which is why I say that she's might be in the later teen years. But well, I'll let that get to when we get to the actual game dialogue.
When it actually gets commented on.
Yes.
Fair enough.
In either case, I guess we should let the video start playing, and we can get on with, well, making fun of how poorly I do with this game.
I'll go dig up an image of a relevant PC98 character later.
All right then. Well then, shall we start? Shall we start the countdown to play this video then?
Yes.
All right then. 3, 2, 1, play.
Sunsoft.
Trust me, it's nothing like Sunsoft.
Touhou
Yes.
Projecto.
It's actually enjoyable, and one of the goofiest looking Reimu pictures we've seen.
Yeah, in the PC98 era, Reimu actually wore a proper Shrine Maiden Hakama.
And yeah, this is just a demo. I'm surely this good at the game.
Yeah, and you see, back in the old days when she was a child, Reimu did not have enough juice in her own body to fly. Her legendary power to float through literally anything, even reality itself, had not manifested yet. So she is riding the Hakurei clan's guardian spirit, Genji the turtle. Obviously modeled after Genbu, the black turtle of the Chinese zodiac.
If you would kindly give us the storyline for Story of Eastern Wonderland?
Yeah, so somewhere between a few months from a year after defeating the Angel of Death, Soriel, Reimu has started investigating the monsters that have appeared at Hakurei Shrine. Now, she's got more of a handle on her powers now, and she's capable of using limited spiritual magic. So she brings along 2 of the Hakurei yin-yang orbs and Genji, and she goes doing what she does best, blowing the ever-loving hell out of everything in sight.
However, as also mentioned, she hasn't done much training. She was
Training is something Reimu never does. And we have our shot types.
Yep. Defensive, which is kind of a homing shot type. Highly mobile, spread shot. And the one Eizen wanted to see the playthrough for, the offensive type, which is basically lasers.
And that's lasers with Dr. Evil quotation fingers.
Yeah, so yeah, Genji can fly.
And yeah.
And he actually disappears after the PC98 era, but when questioned about this, in a rare showing of actually caring about a PC98 character, Zun stated that there is a hot spring behind Hakurei Shrine that Genji lives in a happy retirement.
Also for the, I was gonna say, just to
actually, I think it might be a cold water spring, but it's a spring of some sort. Because I think the only hot springs in Gensokyo are near the Shiraden Geyser.
Yeah. And that we won't encounter till much, much later.
Yeah, but bottom line, Genji, happily retired, glad he ain't putting up with this BS no more.
And considering how she speaks to him in this game, it's... Yeah, Genji actually speaks back to Reimu in this game.
I think this is one of, like, only 1 or 2 games that Genji has dialogue in.
I think it's the only game, if I remember correctly, because he doesn't speak in Touhou 3 through 5. So
I don't even think he shows up in Mystic Square either. I think by that time Reimu can fly into her own power.
Nope, because I remember playing Mystic Square and she's still riding the turtle.
Yeah, well, Genji kind of gets overlooked in fan retellings of Mystic Square. I know that for sure.
Also, for the fun of mentioning, you might have seen a bunch of ghosts sticking their tongues out early on in the stage.
Yeah.
That is the version.
Or this one right here.
Yeah, these are basically the fairies of this game. You've heard of nameless fairies, basically showing up in the Windows game. This is what we had in the PC98 games.
Yeah, like Gensokyo is in a state of absolute unrest. Even the dead are in a state of unrest due to the chaos that's going on right now.
And for some reason, also, self-spawning bullets show up at the end of almost every stage.
Is she firing Christmas trees?
Yes, she's got the magic missiles that Marissa gets later on. Quite a few ghosts around. A sinister individual approaches Mistress. I wonder if this is it for the shrine.
Yeah, I wouldn't be thinking like that, kiddo.
Are you listening to me, Mistress? What now, you senile turtle?
Yeah! Reimu's known for, being a
Bluntness?
flippin' brat.
What her? She's just some human. I'll lick her in no time. Mistress. What do you mean, sinister?
This is, actually, she probably would be,
Have you now made every one of these ghosts here? And a rare scene of Reimu's feet.
baseball.
How is that not sinister? Be quiet. Just sit back and let yourselves be destroyed by the flower tank, my ultimate masterpiece, if I do say so myself, okay? Hey, who are you working for? Ready or not, here I come!
This is Rika, Kid Genius Engineer. And, well, that's literally all we really know. And she shows up again in the extra stage, having rebuilt her flower tank here, has the evil Eye Sigma.
I have never managed to master beating, so sorry.
It's actually one of the toughest extra bosses in the series. Admittedly due to the clunkiness of the PC-98.
Oh, I lost her. Alright, we didn't find out who hired her. Shall we change it?
Rika never shows up again. One shot, like a lot of modern bosses.
And Reimu shows some strong amount of, I guess, genre savviness here. She's probably gonna... But yeah, as you were hinting at earlier, Marissa's Christmas trees, those magic missiles, yeah, Reimu had them first.
And, strange...
Actually, now that I'm looking at it, those quote-unquote Christmas trees are starting to look a bit like Galaga ships or something. And we're just killing some of these green Armon characters from Final Fantasy series.
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, Zune had a bit of influence with Final Fantasy. And you'll get another hint of that later on in the game, believe me. And this reminds me of Jaquayo for some reason, due to the homing shots. Just...
Oh... Jaquayo from the Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ironic, I was just watching Proton John videos a while ago.
Really? Would it have anything to do with the recent part of Yoshi's Island?
No, I was watching his comeback series of RE5.
Ah.
Back when he got active again, 2 years ago. Yeah, we've got Aramons, or Evil Eyes as they're called in this game.
A lot of them.
You know, for a Shinto practitioner, Reimu's certainly full of the Christmas spirit.
Oh, definitely.
Although, ironically, her belief system and her powers are actually more akin to Taoism than Shinto, which is something that is actually made a comment of in 10 Desires. The resident Taoists actually comment on how she's further along in Taoism than they are.
I think they also make a comment in that oh shoot, what was it? That the recent fighting game, Hopeless Masquerade or something like that.
No, the last one was Urban Legend in Limbo.
Oh, I said the most recent fighting game.
Yes, that's the latest fighting game. Urban
Oh,
Legend.
okay.
That's the one with Renko's grandmother, basically.
Oh, okay. I thought Hopeless Masquerade was the last
Hopeless
one. Okay.
Masquerade was the one before that.
Oh, okay,
And yes,
yeah.
it was a religious war.
Okay.
That's when they introduced Kokoro.
Now, since we're about to encounter the second boss, I might as well make a quick comment that there's often mention of shipping in the community, even though there's a lot of females.
Yeah, the male to female ratio in this series was just rife for
This is why I say that. Keep an eye on the dialogue here that I'm Meira, I'm here for the Hakurei. What's this all of a sudden? I mean, I don't mind, but... Anyway, if I win, then the power of the Hakurei will be mine!
Yeah, Reimu interpreted it as a marriage proposal.
And of which she says it's perfectly fine!
This is one of the most infamous gags in the shipping community.
Yes. Which Meira simply tells her straight out that we're both women. And Reimu's still pushing it. Just
yeah, she's an impressionable child who may or may not have her parents right now, so she's probably latching on to the only thing that her childish mind can latch on to.
And as for those old references, that's evidently some anime that Zune was really into, but I don't know it offhand.
This was released in '97, so
Yeah.
take your pick from what was happening then.
It was actually
Rock,
from the
Kenshi,
80s,
Sailor
if I
Moon.
recall.
So yeah, we've got Meira. She is a human. And a rather handsome lady, apparently. But we really don't know much about her. She's just a Ronin of sorts with magical capabilities.
I mean, except for a color swap, as far as I'm concerned, she kind of... given what the dialogue we just went through, she kind of reminds me of Jessie from Pokemon. Just
A little. I mean, again, Meira also disappears after this game, although the general, the more popular fan theories suggest, and my take on it is that she gave up and retired to the human village to become part of the village guard.
Well, I was gonna say, considering that technically she died, just...
Everyone in this series explodes when you defeat them.
No, this one says it straight out that she dies. Reimu doesn't...
Oh.
I'm not even kidding. Look at the dialogue. Reimu states she wins, says... Wait, what? She stopped moving!
Well, she could have knocked her out.
Oh well, time to bury her.
You see,
Yeah,
I'm
but
with Genji on that. I
Meira
think
just runs, evidently. So Reimu was planning to bury her alive?
Yeah, Reimu's kind of nutty. And let's remember, we may have Danmaku, but we don't have the spell card dueling system in the PC-90
Yes.
era. So, Reimu fights for keeps in these games. And the stakes are considerably higher than they are in the Windows era, because if any one of these buggers actually manages to kill her, unless Yukari is somewhere in the background getting ready to hold the border up with her sheer power, Gensokyo will instantly implode. So we are now in a region which is called the World of Fantasies, a transitory plane between Gensokyo and Makai.
I think they call it Genmukai, if I remember correctly from the
That's
dialogue.
probably the Japanese name for it. Actually, let me check. Yeah, it's Genmukai.
Yeah. According to the dialogue that occurs later, he says it's the fastest way to Ramadan, if I remember correctly.
Which is another region, I believe, probably some subset section of Makai, the way Hokai is in the UFO. Like, I mean, let's remember, Makai is an entire plane unto itself.
Right.
It probably has regions. And we are basically going through an express lane between Gensokyo, which is a demi-plane in its own right, and Makai. Don't you just love D&D planar physics?
Everyone's got their own pocket dimension. It's handy.
Technically speaking, Gensokyo is a pocket dimension.
Yes.
It's a demi-plane attached to a single real-world location in a nondescript district of Japan, anchored by a dilapidated as hell shrine. It's actually stated that the Earthside Hakurei Shrine is uninhabited and in severe disrepair.
And just for the fun, because I haven't, you know, been able to talk about gameplay too much real quick. This is definitely an early Danmaku game from Zune. There's no death bombing at all.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the early. The PC98 series. He actually was part of a team called Amusement Makers, who he published the series under their label. And that's also been a source of contention into why he hasn't been able to bring back all but 2 or 3 PC98 characters.
4, actually, you know.
Supposedly, everyone seems to think that Amusement Makers owns everyone else. With the exception of one character that shows up in Phantasmorgia of Dimensional Dream. I believe Zun owns everyone, he just doesn't care about them anymore. Genmukai, the land of fantasies.
And Reimu wasn't afraid of not being able to breathe? Again, yeah, I know she's nuts, but still.
Yeah, I mean, her thought process is extremely alien compared to most humans. I mean, even yokai consider her weird, which is shocking in itself.
And here
we meet the 5 arcane stones.
And
So,
yeah, I think the only boss I've seen in the Touhou series that has not actually had a name, you know, just...
Yeah, they're just called the 5 magic stones. And they are just basically a barrier, a gate for Makai. And I see Reimu has upgraded her Christmas trees to laser trees.
Yeah.
She actually had them for quite a while, at least up until hit from the second boss, and then just recently got them back in this stage.
Yeah, as long as you see Power Max, you will get to see those super shots.
This boss is almost as predictable as Cyrano.
Even more, it's got several iframes that you basically have to wait for.
Oh!
Oops.
What? I thought you were in the holiday spirits. I thought I'd downgrade you a bit. Yeesh.
I don't remember if you can get hit during it, but...
Why risk it?
Also, this is, just for the fun of mentioning, this is the only Touhou game without slow/focus mode, which I'm kind of
Yeah, I
used
was
to.
actually about to... Ooh, Revengeful Ghost, uh-oh.
Also, take a listen to this tune. Several people have commented already, but does it sound similar to another Final Fantasy tune?
I'm thinking it sounds like one of the fight themes.
Yeah, from FF6. Several people have just made mention that it sounds like FF6's boss theme.
That backup theme.
Oh, yes!
Sounds like the FF6 battle theme, yes.
Not sure about battle theme, the boss battle
that's
theme
what I mean,
definitely
you know.
sounds like that. But you guys, since we're on the topic of music, I do have to admit, for 98 era, this is actually very nice music. But then again,
Zun is a musical genius.
Zun,
Yes.
In fact, he made
it out.
games.
Yeah.
He made the game specifically as an engine to produce his music.
In fact, several people have said that, you know, the games often wind up taking second place, and several people remember the.
That's. He made the music. Oh, Zariel? No, that's just a giant fairy.
Yeah. And she's pretty decently buffed. In fact, you've
Well, that's a mid boss, so yeah.
not exactly mid-boss because she shows up later on.
Recurring mid boss.
Yes.
Also, solar eclipse. Spooky.
Or possibly a collapsed star, who knows.
Yeah, we are in a transitory plane at the moment.
And
Yeah, we're in Reimu right now,
Yes.
which is assumed to be a district of Makai.
and as I promised, here she is again.
Yeah, I mean, and depictions of Makai have ranged from a world of eternal night to a freaking cavern, like as if it's some section of the plane of Earth or some such. Like, there's no descriptions in the canon for Makai, so people have gone wild with it.
Oh, just for the fun of mentioning, another thing as a sign of this being an older game, that player count there that you see, that's the maximum. If you get any extra lives beyond that, they go instantly to your bombs instead.
Well, that can be good.
Not really. Considering that you get up to 3 bombs per life, then... Oh, something big's about to show. Their leader, maybe? And Reimu's dragging it out.
Genji, what?
And here she is.
The Dark Akurio Mima Akagane.
I knew it was you! Wait, you did? Oh, not really, but just wanted to say that. Oh, who cares about
Mima is an interesting person. A vengeful spirit
Yes.
who started out as an entity of pure malice, but eventually mellowed out. And while she disappeared in the Windows era, she is assumed to perpetually haunt Hakurei Shrine.
However, her essence, so to speak, is certainly well remembered.
And now we are introduced to someone who will become very important to Reimu. Very important.
And I was gonna say, the first time you see Marissa, she had red hair. This was probably
Yes.
the one that was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
And the first rendition of her theme, Love-Colored Master Spark.
well, love-colored magic in this game, but nonetheless, yeah.
Yeah, Marissa Kirisame, future secondary protagonist of the franchise, and Reimu's best friend forever.
And certainly one of the most difficult Stage 4 bosses I can think of.
Marissa is always a Stage 4 boss, and she will always kick your head in.
Oh, not always. There is one other time she doesn't show up as a Stage 4 boss.
No, I mean, when she does show up as a boss, she's usually the Stage 4.
Yeah. Let's not forget, after all, Great Fairy War's extra boss.
Yeah, where she is again the 4th boss, and an absolute biatch
Yes.
fight.
Oh, right, I forgot that it only had 3 stages, yeah.
Yeah,
Ay.
and here she is fighting with the Orrery's son, which is one of the mythical artifacts that Mima has entrusted to her.
And she uses it fairly well.
Also, she's riding a weird flower, too.
She also loves stars.
They focus very prominently in all of her magic throughout the entire series. Amusingly enough, despite using fire and light almost exclusively, Marissa's elemental affinity is actually to water.
Really?
If she actually wanted to give up all of her wizard scrolls and be a sorcerer, her attunement would be to water.
I always assumed it would be towards light, but nonetheless. And also, just for the fun of mentioning for gameplay-wise, while those orbs are active, she's invulnerable. So every time she brings them back, you have to blow them up again. Yeah, I know, but it makes this fight just really, really drag out as a result. Just
well, she is stalling you for Mima to escape.
Yes. This is also the only game where she has red hair, even in the.
And amusingly, you'll notice she's saying Lady Mima. Mm-hmm. In the original Japanese script, she uses the honorific Sama, which you give to generals, gods, and master-servant relationships. Mima is the only being in the entire franchise who holds Marissa's complete respect.
But still, it's time to hunt down a ghost.
Ghost or deity? Zone has been intentionally vague on that part. He's left hints that Mima might actually be attached to the Hakurei Shrine as a minor deity.
But, well, Mima made the biggest mistake of all. She messed with Reimu's shrine.
Yeah.
And truthfully, evidently the orbs can be filled with power and then taken and used by someone else.
Yeah. Only a blood member of the clan can use the Yin-Yang orbs. Now, because Reimu does not have a whole lot of spiritual power in this era, she can't use them very effectively.
Kind of like Dragon Balls, if you ask me, you know, just...
Yeah, and Mima wants the Hakurei orbs, which further fuels the speculation that either she is an ancestor of Reimu's, or one of the gods attached to the shrine.
And Reimu seems to know her fairly well, you know, other than just, you know,
she did meet her in the last game.
Yeah, but I just mean that... And we get to deal with her different form.
This is her fighting combat form and her most iconic theme, complete darkness.
She also seems to play with you a lot, with considering.
Well, it's implied that Mima is ridiculously powerful. I mean, there's speculations that she could have been a phantasm boss in her own right in the Windows era.
What I mean by play with you is, well, she gives you power-ups. I think she's the only boss that actually stops the fight, you know, and just says, okay, here's more power-ups.
Well, I mean, again, yes. I mean, if we assume that she's actually a patron to the shrine, then she's not trying to kill Reimu. Just screw with her a little bit. Or she doesn't think that the kid's a worthy enough heir, and in the BC98 era, there's credence to that accusation, because she's very weak in this era, up until Mystic Square. That's when the kid really starts to throw down.
In fact, just to state on that, just for the fun of it, if you do get continue before you get here, she will actually berate you for not being a true warrior, a true Hakurei clan member.
Well, yeah, because you had to rely on your chief patron giving you a miracle to survive. Boss or not, she's gonna. Even if Ryujin's actually her boss or not, she's gonna call you out on that.
And so does Genji, for that matter. Yes.
Well, Genji's got even more cause. He's this kid's guardian spirit. Otherwise, he's frustrated that, one, he's unable to actually do his job. Two, that she's failing so hard.
There's nothing for it? Huh?
Yeah, she's decided that the kid's probably proven her worth. Or...
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought you weren't holding back to begin with. And so now we
remember when I said that I wouldn't hold my power back? Well, this time I mean it.
And now we get the actual combat fight.
Yeah.
And dear lord, is this nuts.
Like I said, potential phantasm boss. I mean, Mima is, in the fandom, considered to be on the same level of power as Yukari, Yuka, and EX Rumia. So, fanon, but take that for what it's worth, in the lack of actual canon info.
And so, we finally get the ending for this game. Oy, as difficult as it is. You have no idea how many tries it took me to get this to work out.
1 month later. Aww. She's actually kind of adorable.
And believe it or not, these endings don't really change much between the three. Only one specific section changes. I'll point it out where it changes, but yeah, I guess Mima decided to calm down? Well, she is sealed.
This is where she mellows out.
Well, maybe not. And this is the part that changes. Depending on what shot type you chose, you get a different power from the Hakurei orbs.
Although, these are just like secondary side powers.
Right.
And they're all canon.
Of course, then again, this might be Genji just telling her some very low power things due to her, well, not being that strong with the Hakurei orbs.
Yeah, because, I mean, if I imagine if she'd attempted to use fantasy nature, right now, it probably would have been like positive energy overload or something, and she would have gone boom.
So, yes, this is one of the powers, to turn it into a cat.
I mean, think about it, Reimu. You'd never be lonely. Because then you have 8 cats!
Yeah, at the rate she's going, she's gonna grow up to be an old cat woman. But she's just 10 years old. Give her time.
Maybe this is why Yukari got interested, or she's got her own chin. And you don't have to clean up after it.
It's a very dog-like cat.
Very low maintenance cat. Just. I also know she's got.
If you loved cats, why wouldn't it be a great treasure?
Ironically, I don't know this for certain myself, but apparently in Subterranean Animism, Orin wanted to be adopted by Reimu.
I was gonna say, I'd have to look through the endings of that again, you know, just to remember about it. I do know Yukari grabs her and brings her, but she's in cat form, so she can't talk. So.
So yeah, that is Story of Eastern Wonderland.
And yeah, all these super explosions. No, it wasn't taken straight from it. I have no idea who was willing to live with these lunatic shots, but not me. I am not playing this on loop. No. There are others. Like,
oh, come on, just do it. No. Oh, come on, just try it. No.
I have only played one game on Lunatic, and that's because the fact it allowed continues for that to get to the end for that. And I doing a one credit clear on hard was enough of a pain. Not doing Lunatic.
And it's never explained how Reimu's hair color changed.
It's a shame that it's back in the day. We could have said that it was Mega Man logic. Cutscene, it's blue. In actual gameplay, it's black.
Well, technically, yeah.
And someone said she looks a bit heavy.
Well, those Hakamas are very loose-fitting.
A bit.
Subpar gamer, I cleared this game with no continues. What more do you want? Yeah, this is also the only game that actually...
It could have said at the very least, subpar gamer, parentheses, with some skill, end parentheses.
I once got it clear for this game that the rating it said for my skill level was kind of bad.
You've cleared all types, but try to extra stage.
Admittedly, this looks...
Let me think about that now!
Yeah.
Again, you're just gonna face Rika and the Evil Eye Sigma, and that
is... No.
From what I can remember, I think extra stages are like a mix between hard and lunatic difficulty.
Yeah,
your difficulty in extra stage is locked to the highest for that game.
Yeah, it sets...
And we're gonna switch over to the other endings.
I basically cut and pasted and put the other two endings in this.
Splice in the scene from Clue at the end. That was one possible ending, but what if?
So, what are the other powers of the yin-yang orbs? Yeah, don't expect me to have playthroughs of extra stages. I put on my channel.
Extra stages don't even have endings, to my knowledge, so...
So yeah, this is another power of the Hakurei, of the yin-yang orbs, fragrance. Basically, your own personal Febreze.
I have to say this is probably the most useless of the three.
I'm trying to think, is this ending one for like the homing shots?
This is actually, if I remember correctly, this is the one for ending shot type 2. It'll say towards the end.
Oh, the spread shot?
No, this is the homing shot. You are correct. This is the homing shot.
Oh, so I was gonna say for a homing shot, that does seem like it would be kind of a useless power-up you get for just homing.
Yeah, this is what you get. Yeah, I think this is homing. Yeah, good end too. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And that could have happened, but no.
Seamless music loop, by the way.
And splice back Clue again. But here's what really happened.
And this is the most famous of all, as far as I'm concerned. The most famous power of the yin-yang orbs.
The reason Reimu's hitbox is the smallest of any character.
And it is amazing. It is the ability to eat sweets and not get fat. Oh, sorry about the text speed, but it's automated during the ending, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Genji's kind of got a point. I mean, comfort food would be an issue. It would be an issue of the past.
And she's the only one who can use this power. Straightforward saying that. So, Reimu decides to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
For a moment, I thought I misread the word crepes for crepes.
And that...
It's like, Reimu, late!
Well, at least she didn't say craps.
That's right up there, too.
But that was the first bullet hell that Zune made. Certainly a bit archaic, I will say that much. But it was the first one, and definitely the early on with this. In either case, evidently some picture to add to the video.
One of the possible candidates. I'm looking for more.
Shouldn't have clicked that quick. But yeah, this was Story in Eastern Wonderland. It definitely one of the hardest games, if only because of the fact that it was his first trial. It was his first attempt at
This is the beginning of the Danmaku games.
And you can hear several people who've made their comments about it. I mean, that it sounds like a couple of the tunes came from other games, that several of the characters didn't quite look appropriate, just... Hey, and that Genji actually talks. How can they have that? I kind of like those the snide remarks from Genji back. That's all. Just trying to put up with Reimu. I can imagine anyone trying to live and having to put up with Reimu would just go nuts. Just.
Yeah.
That's probably why Suika doesn't mind. That's probably what I mean. Anyone that drunk would find it easy just to
just tune her out. Let the haze of the alcohol flow through you.
And as for Yukari, help, she's she plays with Reimu just.
Yeah, you think Reimu is petulant? Like, Yukari is a grandmaster of petulance.
Yes. And this is why I like you, Yuko.
Because she's a silly pants, and yet she can still put up with that woman.
Hey, if you can successfully outwit the chess master, as you said, of Gensokyo, then yeah, you are a winner in my book.
Yeah.
But still, any additional comments or anything that you've absorbed from this, Eizen?
Well, of course, it's the second in the series, but I think kind of safe to say for the first official, what feels like Touhou game. Not bad, in my opinion.
Neat.
And you said you do plan to do more?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm perfectly willing to go through the other games because, as far as I'm concerned, it gets easier from here. You know, just
Yeah, this is the prototype of the Danmaku engine for Touhou. He was still feeling things out, so things were really, really tough. The rest of the PC98 era gets smoother.
yeah. The graphics engines kind of get a bit easier with it.
And the storyline's a little more coherent for the most part. For Touhou, anyway.
And several of the other features start popping up. Like, for example, in the Stage 4 boss in later Touhou games has kind of a habit of changing depending on what shot type you choose. That there were 6 stages at become a standard in almost every other Touhou game.
Hmm.
In this one, it cuts off at the fifth stage, and for that matter, you actually get other characters that you can select. It's not just Reimu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But only Marissa is the constant, though. She's the sidekick. Darn proud of it too,
Definitely.
by her own admission.
She even shows up as playable in the next Touhou game, which we'll take a look at later. I don't have anything to show for it at this point, but
Take your time, Cobra.
Yeah.
I will say this much. You know, Phantasmagoria of Dim Dream is definite, at least easier. It'll at least be easier, and Lotus Land Story will basically be a joke in comparison. And I don't mean that as insulting. It's just that in Lotus Land Story, they throw one-ups at you like crazy. You, in fact, get if I remember correctly, you get an extra life at the end of every stage. Or maybe not an extra life. Maybe it might just be a bomb at the end of every stage. But they give you one-ups like crazy. I have actually reached up to the maximum of 9 lives in that game. Yeah. So it's definite. That'll be a cakewalk by comparison, but that'll be for another time. But in either case, I hope you, Eizen, as well as everyone else, watching, has enjoyed this little foray into the realm of Gensokyo.
I'll definitely look forward to when you do the next one.
In either case, I've been Cobra One.
I'm the Watcher.
And I'm Eizen something or other, whatever.
And together we are the Prism River Brothers, I guess. No? Okay.
Ray?
Okay, that we'll wait till we get to that point, and then you'll wonder what the hell.
We're missing a Layla, Cobra.
Well, that's obviously Bo. He's off, somewhere, obviously in control in the background. No? Okay.
Wow.
I could have said it was Phoenix. No? Okay. In either case, take care, all, and we'll be back when we have focus as an option. I want my focus. Take care, all.
It's starting to get too blurry. We need more focus.
Cut.